Welcome to Average Christian Man. This week we're going to be discussing the question, how do you know which parts of the Bible to take literally and which to take figuratively? I have to say that I really like this question because whether you're an atheist, an agnostic, a new Christian, or even a well-versed Christian, it's really important to know which parts of the Bible, when you're reading it, you should be taking literally and which you should be taking figuratively. Like I expect most questions on this channel are going to be, this is a big question that we're not going to be able to cover exhaustively in our 3 to 5 minute segments. So as promised, I've put some links into the description that are going to dig more into the content that we're talking about, but I'm going to do my best to summarize it here. Before we totally dive in, I want to quickly go over the way that the Bible is organized because this is really important for laying a groundwork on how to read the Bible. The Bible was written over a roughly 1800-year period by more than 40 different authors. The Bible is more of a compilation of 66 individual books. Those 66 books are broken up into two parts. You've got the Old Testament and the New Testament. Within each of these books, you've got chapters, and within the chapters, you've got verses, which are roughly sentences or short statements. So when you see something like John 3:16, that's referring to the book of John, chapter 3, verse 16. Now to the question at hand. How do you know which parts of the Bible should be taken literally and which should be taken figuratively? What we're talking about here is called biblical hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is the study of the principles and methods of interpreting the text of the Bible. At its most basic level, hermeneutics calls us to read the Bible in its most plain and normal sense. Take it for what it is. That is, unless it's obviously symbolic or implementing a figure of speech. At its most basic level, the answer to this question is the same way you read any other book. Let's say you're reading a sports article, for example, and the headline reads, "Team crushed by opposition in 35-0 defeat." Now, obviously you already know the team wasn't literally crushed, but you do know from the context that they were defeated soundly. A second crucial rule of hermeneutics is that the passage or verse needs to be read contextually. Context is king. There's two main ways that you should look at this. First, it's very important to look at the context of the content, meaning look at that verse and then look at it in the context of the surrounding verses or paragraph, maybe even the chapter or the whole book, because that's really going to help drive the meaning of what you're reading. The second way is that you need to look at the context of the writing itself. And what I mean by that is look at who wrote it, who was the intended audience, what was happening in the world or to the Israelites or to the new Christian church at that time. A study Bible is a great tool for this because it's not always evident from the text itself, and that's really going to help round out what it is that you're reading and how to read it. To get you started, there's about 6 different literary styles that the Bible is written in. The first one is law or statutory. These are the rules and regulations that were laid down for the Old Testament Israelites or the new Christian church. The second one is historical narrative or genealogical. These are non-fictional accounts of real events or of family lineage. The third is going to be poetry or parables. These are intentionally metaphorical language that was implemented to illustrate a point. The fourth is prophetic. This is a foretelling or a proclamation from God that was either conveyed directly from God or through an individual, a prophet. The fifth is wisdom or proverbs. These are short statements of common truths and general rules. The sixth is going to be the epistles or letters. These were written to specific groups of early Christians They were letters that were meant to guide or correct or even answer questions of the early church. I want to conclude on this note. I know that there are a lot of layers that we couldn't get to, but I wanted to start here because I wanted to lay a foundation block so that when we do discuss these more specific questions, we have a context. But all of that said, there's your average answer from your average Christian man. Thanks, guys.